Hi, right. So I suddenly realised that I'm making some assumptions here because I've done geometric and technical drawing at O level as far back as 1984, and also I've worked on building sites, so I know how to cut and measure. And I've done, been playing with Lego, Meccano, etc., for as a kid and things. So I've made some assumptions that people following this video would actually know what to do. So I thought, what we'll do here is just like the delightful videos where they show you painting and stuff like that, and how to do stuff. We'll go through an actual how-to, but we'll do it in two parts. The first part I will do identification, measuring and cutting, and then the second one will do assembly. All right, so first off, what we want is these pieces here. All right, so we want to join from here to a node, down to there and across to there. All right, so we need all those three pieces. So first of all, we need to identify this node here, its number, right, in the scheme. Now I have to know that it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have to know that it's number 8, but let's assume that you don't know that. And it's going to be rotated round because this is upside down, and so it is this one here, and miracle of miracles, it is in fact F8. So earlier I marked and identified each of these with a pieces of tape on them. So that's F1, that is, I can't properly read it, so let's check it. That's F9, that's definitely F5, that's F11, so this one is definitely F8, and you can see, yes, that's yes, you can't see it properly in the video, the thing on the camera, but there is a line across there, so that's F8. All right, so now we need to identify the orientation, and it's what we're looking for is this pipe across here from these four. Okay, so you've got the four big ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, one of which goes off at an angle. It's not quite straight. Ah, look, that one points away, so that's one. And to check, let's see, this one here, which is flat, is here, and that is a 13mm one. And there are uprights 1, 2, 3 and 4, so 43, 33, 24 and 45 pipes go out from me. So this is orientated that way round. Upside down, it's going to be that way round, and it's going to go here. And just to double check, is it roughly the mirror image of this one? If we look at the directions of those pipes, yes, you can see this here is pointing forwards in the opposite direction from this one. Okay, so we've now successfully identified that, and I'm going to put it on the table here to remind me. Now I just happen to know that the 3D printer, the layer stuff is always starts downwards when it was on the 3D printer. All right, but because this is upside down, it's all that way. Yeah, and I didn't change the orientation of any of the parts when I printed them, so I know that this scraggly mess is always pointing upwards. All right, so let's upside down, let's turn it the right way up, let's go back to here to F8. All right, now we need pipes 33. Now we only need 3, okay, to get a trapezoid to make sure that it's rigid and can't go anywhere. So we've got 33, 8, and number 4. I've already done 4, and it is of length 27. Where's the ruler? Keep past the ruler. Where's that ruler? Thank you, dear. So, for measuring on a ruler, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that the end is dead level. If it isn't, you can check it by holding it upright and spinning it. And if, as you spin it, it's not going like this, then it's level. But if it isn't, then file it off until it is. And once you've done that, you've got a 6mm. But of course, don't cut the other end until you've got one end flat. Right? So, you have to get from directly above. You mustn't try to do that, and you mustn't do that. You must look directly above and line it up. And you can actually feel it with your finger. What I typically do, can you hold this? So that it's you're holding over the camera, so the camera is there. That's it, brilliant. What I do is I do this. I hold, the camera's there, okay, all right. I hold with a finger and I put my finger on the end like that, and if that's smooth, if it's jagged, if your finger falls off, or if your finger catches, then you know you've not got it level. But when your finger is smooth as a transition from the ruler to the thing, then you know that you've got it right. Let me just check. Good, okay. All right, and then we know that this is 27. Length here is 27.0. So, oh, sorry, I'm measuring in inches, not thing. Hold it still, hold it still, hold it still. I'm going to move underneath. Okay, all right. So we can see it. Hold it still, hold it still. Brilliant. Okay, so that's from there, and the length is 27. It's a bit scraggly, but that's okay, because once you flatten that out, you get 27.0. Brilliant. So that one's okay. All right. So the next one we're looking for off of node 8 is number 33, and it says here it's going down to B9. All right. So we want to check that. Here's the piece of paper with front 33, pipe number 33, front 8, yes, F8, because this is the one that F8 is what we're installing, onto bonnet 9. Okay, so I happen to know the numbering for the bonnet, which goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, brilliant. So that one, it will come up from here to F8. Brilliant. Okay, so it's number 33. So first thing we need is a piece of bamboo. We need to check the length first. The length is 49.7. What do we have that's approximately 49.7 or 50? Ruler is here. That one is 45. That one at the back there is 45. None of those. We'll end up wasting some perfectly good, really long ones here. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to get a new piece of bamboo. Okay. All right. You hold that. You're putting your hand across the lens there. Remember the lens is in this corner. Okay. So first thing we need to do, if you can show the top there, if you can point it at the top, is you notice how when this is held upright and it's spun, that it's not in the least bit level. Now that's sufficiently bad at an angle like this when it was cut by the store, that I'm just going to cut that end off. Right. Come over. Right. You want to hold the torch over there. Right, now when cutting, you want to be using, it's actually better if you use a, there's a tool that you can actually put the saw in, and you want a tenon saw. I can't remember, it's been such a long time I can't remember what it is, but so by eye, what I'm doing is, one, I'm making sure that the saw is not like this or like that, and two, by eye, I'm making sure that the saw is not like this or like that. And I'm only going to take off about 3 millimeters from here. I'm going to hold it a little bit off the ground. Now, one thing about using any kind of saw is you mustn't press downwards. If anything, you lift up ever so slightly as a thing, and you'll see why. Watch what happens. Can you point it slightly at the rest of the thing as I start cutting, and watch what happens if I see that juggling. That's because I'm deliberately pressing down to demonstrate to you what you shouldn't be doing. So if you want to come down to here, right? The thing is the light helping? The torch helping? No? Brilliant. Okay. Alright, so I'm resting it lightly. I'm not pushing, I'm actually lifting this hacksaw blade off of the thing. My finger, the other thing I was taught is your finger, you put your finger along there and you try and, like a snooker player, you must keep your body positioned so that the saw can naturally go in a straight line. I'm putting my finger against the blade temporarily to make it not bounce around. Okay, that's deep enough now that I don't have to put my finger on it. See, that's juddering because I'm not. Occasionally you'll have to turn it like this, okay, all right, to get a different bite. Or to stop it biting, more to the point. A little bit of juddering's fine. A lot of juddering obviously isn't, and if you've got a lot of juddering, it means that you're letting the saw under gravity get too much bite onto the wood. And as I say, let the saw do the work. And okay, brilliant. And we've got a few burrs, but that's good. Okay, brilliant. Now let's check it. Okay. Let's put it against the wall on the camera, and now let's spin it. And it's not spinning around. See, can you put it above? Can you put the torch above? Yeah, that's level. All right. Okay, so that now we can do the measurements and things on this. Okay. All right. So let's put the torch away from the camera because it's too bright. So. Again, what we're going to do is I'm going to hold it with two hands. So if you could again hold this up. All right. So 2 hands, 1 hand at each. Can you bring it a bit further this way, so I can, because it's so long, it's going against the wall. Okay. Okay. Hold it. Hold the thing. That's it. Brilliant. So. With one hand, I'm supporting with this end, and I know that it is, what was it? It's 49.7. Okay, so first thing is we put
that right on the end there. Again, smooth transition from one to the other. Can I get my arm out? Thank you. Can I get my arm out? Thank you. And the length is 49.7. Okay, so if you can point to where I'm doing with the pencil. So, holding very firmly with this right hand, I am making sure that it doesn't move about. Now, the first pencil mark, you might get it in the wrong place. It's 49.7 here, okay? So I have, what I've done is I've put a mark on in pencil, but I know that it is 0.5 millimeter out from looking at it directly from above. I'm moving about in the end, so I know that that's been altered. So, no, stay where you are, stay where you are, stay where you are, stay where you are, stay where you are. Right over here, that's it, bring it home. You hold it there, brilliant. Okay, thank you. Right, so again, this is quite awkward. It's very fiddly because the camera's out of focus. There's not much you can do about it. Okay, so that's good. And on that end, we come back here. Where is our 49.7? 49.7. Brilliant. Okay. 49. .7. Now, what I'm looking for here, keep it still, keep it still. What I'm looking for here is when I have marked this, I need to know where I have marked it, a thing. And what I notice about what I've marked it, keep it still, is that I've marked it on the opposite side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. And what that tells me is that I must cut on the other side of this line. I've marked on this line here, and I've deliberately put some markings on here to tell me when I start cutting that I must not go into this area. So I must cut on the opposite side here where it's clear. And that gives me enough. Oh look, there's the original. There's the other one as well. There's the other line that I did. Now, as long as, because this is so thin, as long as I keep it cutting cutting directly down, then it'll be fine. But with the pipes that's nowhere near enough. So what the pipes would have had to do is to mark repeatedly and draw a continuous line. So do mark, line, mark, line between the two, mark, line from the previous ones to the next one, mark, draw a line, mark, draw a line. So I do 6 markings all the way round and then hand draw a line between all of them to get a constant thing. And I'll show you that later. But for now, let's just come over here and cut this. Okay. Where's the saw? Okay. I don't normally cut this way round, but I'm doing this for the video. Nope. There we go. Okay. All right. So, can you bring it down in so that it can think? Now, can you see what I'm doing? Is I'm holding my finger this side, such that the saw blade, I can still see the line. And here is where I've marked it. What we've said was we are not going to go into this area, including the actual blade. Now remember, the blade is, I don't know if you can see this clearly, the blade is wiggly and the wiggle is wider than this. So it's not the blade, this part, that you want to make sure is the outside of the line, it's the wiggle part. Okay, so firstly, finger upright with your nail on it. Secondly, put the blade and pick one of the wiggles against the line. Thirdly, check that it is upright. Fourthly, check that it's not at an angle like this. And then begin with a draw a draw backwards, and it will bounce around, but that's what your finger is there for. Your finger on the other side is there to make sure it does not move about. And you might have to do this: draw, lift, draw, lift to get started. And once you're going, remember, lift it up a tiny bit as you push and pull. Do not push down with the blade, because you'll get that juddering. It will try and cut far too much and you get that juddering. Now, if you like, what you can do is, and this often is a royal pain in the neck if you do it, is you can check. Yeah, you can see what having stopped, it was a mistake. Yeah, it's juddering. There we go. It's the last little bit before it snaps off. Again, put your finger on it, and that's a clean break, rather than the mess that we had here. So now we have a clean pipe, a clean piece of bamboo that is dead straight, and yeah, that's coming back. All right, and let's put those up here with the lengths there, so that when I put the ruler at the same point, I can get a gauge of which ones that I want. All right, so next thing. All right, so from a distance, okay. All right, next thing is we just want to tape the piece of paper on so that we know that it ruler goes there. Finding the end, you just dunk 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 with your nail, just go backwards and forwards and you will find it soon enough. I'm quite happy to use my teeth to cut thing. Now when putting these on, make sure that the piece of the tape doesn't matter, but the piece of paper with the markings on it, make sure that that is straight. See, the tape doesn't matter, but the paper does, and it will wrap and roll and sit up like this, and it will get damaged if it's like that, and you can't read it properly. So, cut with the teeth. Can't be bothered with scissors. Just tape. Done, and that's done, and that is ready to go on the underside of here. All right. Yes, it is the underside, isn't it? Because that's, look, we've got front 8 here. This is F8, so that goes on there, and we know bonnet 9. It goes on bonnet 9. Yeah. All right. So that's that one. Now we need to identify the other pipe, and I know that it is number 8, because the previous ones here in this line is 6, 7, 8. So I did the numbering. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there, which are the forward ones, and I know that these ones are 6, 7, 8. So let's just double check that and check the numbering on here. Where's my finger? Front 6. Front 7 upside down, but never mind. So this one is front 8. Brilliant. All right, so front 8 is here. Need your help. Front 8. Okay. Okay, so here's 8 and 9. So cutting down the middle. And looking at the spec on this, this is the angles, by the way. This is the length and this is the angles. So this means that it is dead level relative to that there. There's no X, there's no X, there's no Y, and there's no Z. It's a 21.5 millimeters, so that means we need the Flowplast PVC pipe, and it is 46.0 millimeters long. So let's come on over here and bring the ruler. Whoa, let me grab the ruler. Right, so I have a piece that is approximately 70 millimeters long here. You can point at the shelf, and this is my spare shelf. This point it here. This is my spare shelf, and none of the pieces here are long enough, so we have to use this one. You have to use this one. All right, so let's go back to the table. All right, so point it here, point it here. That's it, brilliant. Okay, whoops. So let's find the end of the sellotape again. There it is. And tape. Point at my fingers. Okay. One, and that's reasonably straight. Snip two. Okay. All right. So let's check this end here, and let's check that end. Which of these is better? Because one of them we will cut, and the other one we will. I suspect that those are both just as bad as each other. So what we're going to do. 46. I should have checked this beforehand. What we're going to do is we're going to file off this end. So for this we'll have to go outside. So we don't want to file on need the torch. No, you can stand there. You can stand inside. You can stand inside. But you just hold that. Okay. All right. Just I'll be outside because of the pieces. Now by eye, I'm checking the level here, and I've got the pipe parallel to my body, but also parallel to my. So this is a right angle. My body from here to here. This is a right angle. And to make sure that it doesn't flip off, I'm going to use my thumb and finger as a. But what I'm not doing is I'm not going directly backwards and forwards. I'm going in round, going sideways, deliberately. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting the file is there, and the pipe I'm moving backwards and forwards, and that gives you a smoothing off here, right? But you don't end up with not trying flattening out in one place only. The last thing you want with a small file is to end up with a divot. Awesome. A little bit more here. A little bit more on that edge. It's not perfect. There's a divot here, but I can work around that. Okay, yeah. Nope. I'm not happy with it. Okay, all right, now let's check it. Can you see the top? Can you see the top? The top of the, no, the top there, top of the pipe. and I'm going to spin it, and it should be dead flat. Yeah? That's what you see by my eye when I'm doing my eye on the top here. That's what I'm seeing, so that's what I'm showing you on the camera. Right? So that's good enough to be a starting point, and the reason for doing all of it will become clear in a minute. Okay. All right. So turn the torch. Very pretty. Thank you. Now, we're going to for the whole thing. Do you want to get the whole of this from my both hands in the shot? Okay. So, firstly, again, make sure again using your body as a right angle triangle. Yeah. Make sure that the pipe is right angles to your eye, and make sure that the roller is dead flat, and you want the ruler the same amount all the way along. What you don't want is you don't want to be measuring like this or like that. You want, when you look at it, you want it to be absolutely dead straight, and the flat part of that should be absolutely dead level and flat with the pipe itself. Okay. All right. Now, with your left hand, you're going to hold tight, and your right hand at the other end to hold tight. And reading off the pipe, the number, it says 46.0. So we need to mark at 46.0. Okay. Now, holding really rigid with your right hand, you can take your left hand off. And if this moves, start again. Okay. All right. So good. Obviously, you've got the pencil in your left hand. All right. Can you see that clearly? We've got some light. Let's get into some light here. Can you see that clearly with the pencil? Is it visible? Okay. Right. And with the pencil, I'm lightly marking, and I'm going to draw again the lines to say not on that side. Now I'm going to move it round by 1 centimeter. Line up here, and again. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate things. I'm going to mark with the pencil and keep on marking until I get up to 46.0, and when I get to 46.0, I'm stopping. So I'm doing mark, 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 mark. That's getting close. That's close. 46.0. Brilliant. And then we complete the line carefully between the previous mark and this one. Now we rotate the pipe by another centimeter. Same deal with the end again. Put it on the end. It moved. I'm not holding it tightly enough with my right hand. So, same story. Ahead again, and you just have to be very patient. Okay, 46.0. Is that clear under the light? Mark it with a pencil, mark it with a pencil, mark it with a pencil. Getting close, I'm 0.5 millimeter away. Fantastic. There we go. Another centimeter. And the thing, I mean, you just have to repeat this. Okay, left hand, everything. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. It's level all the way along. Right, come on into the foot into this part. Remember the pencil. Mark it, mark it, mark it, mark it. 0.5 millimeter away. Oh, that was 0.5 millimeter over. Damn. I moved the pencil. I'm not trusting that. There we go. That's on the end again. So fortunately with pencil is it will actually rub off. That's 45. That's 45.5. That's good. and line, complete the line to the other mark. How much more have we got to go? I think we can do 2 more here. I think we'll complete it with 2 more. So at the end, back into the light, the thing, I want to zoom into there. That's 44.5, that's 45, 45.5, 46. Brilliant. Mark the area that we're not going to be cutting and finish off the line here. Brilliant. I've got 200 of these to do. Fortunately, there's not so many of these PVC pipes as there are bamboo ones. The bamboo ones are very straightforward. It's the PVC pipes that there's about, I think, 60 of them. One more should do it, I think. 44.5, 45, and it wasn't straight. 46, yes, that's good. Okay, and finish off the line. Mark the side that we're not going to be cutting on. Oh, hooray! Okay, all right, so there we go. It's the 2 lines. And this one I should be able to complete by hand, by eye, but I'm still going to check it. So again, line up, 46, awesome, fantastic. Okay, all right, now for the cutting of this. Okay, all right, let's go outside again. I'm going to bring this forward. I'm going to bring this forward so you don't have to go down. Thank you very much for doing this, by the way. Now, I discovered very quickly that the diameter of these pipes is large enough that even the slightest angle, unless it's exactly 90 degrees, you start cutting through and you go through and you end up and you find that you're 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter out at the other end. So I just developed a different technique. Can you see this line? Can you bring it down so you can see that line? What I did instead is I'm doing a little bit at a time and I'm not cutting all the way through, so I'm getting a line through it, about 0.5 millimeter of depth, and then repeating the exercise. And eventually it cuts all the way through. So again, nail upright against the line, covering where you do not want it to go cutting, and then start. But once you've got just a piece of white, stop. Turn the pipe about 5 millimeters and repeat. Do not cut all the way through. Turn by 5 millimeters. Just do about 3, 1, 2, 3, back 2, 3, 4. Stop. 5 millimeter turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Turn. Whoa, that's windy. 1, 2. It's cold. 3, 4. Stop. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're following the outside of the line. 3, 4. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Alright, and so we've gone all the way round. So having gone all the way round, you can see here. Put the torch so that you can see that. Can you see that? Are you pointing at the hole? Yeah, you can see the hole is already cut through on here because we're on to the second round. Now we can cut the second round, and this time it should go through. If there's any of the pieces of plastic in the way and you can't see the line, stop. Brush them off. And you should have this way, even without a tenon and mortar. Tenon saw and mortise, is it something? It's basically a 90-degree angle holder for your saw. You can do this without without needing one of those. And the last piece. Right, and what you can do is put this camera on there, so you can actually use the one pipe to clean the burrs of the other one. Blow them out and get back inside because it's cold. Clean off the saw, just don't bring the bits of PVC back into your house. Okay, all right. That goes on there for later in case we need some pieces that are only 15mm wide. All right, I've got the camera, thank you. Let's put the torch down. Not quite yet.
It's too
so
long to
almost. And let's just check the measuring. Let's just check the measuring. Okay, so putting it on the end, on one end, and the other end is 45.5. The other end is 45.5. So no, it isn't. It is 46.0. I had it out at this end by 0.5 mm. So that's basically it. Thank you very much, Sam. We've got everything cut and measured, and the next one in this series will be assembly. So, thank you very much. That was a long video.